Hi there, and welcome back to the Sales Growth Showcase, where we share insights from today's top sales leaders so that you can make more money and be better connected to your customers. I am joined today by Tom Slocum. Tom, thank you so much for being here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you impact others?
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited about this. My name is Tom Slocum. I am a co-founder of my own company, Outbound SOS, which is helping founders and individual contributors and sales leaders really find a new way to sell in this new world with a methodology that works. I'm also a director of sales enablement for a digital marketing agency known as Milestone. I have a podcast out there, and I also run a sales community known as RevLead. That's SDRs, BDRs, and AEs all in the trenches together through a Slack community. But ultimately, my day-to-day is just helping individual contributors and sales leaders find a way to be successful in everything outbound prospecting, from cold calling to email to social selling, just finding ways to connect with their prospects in a way that makes a difference and leads to the bottom line.
Well, fantastic. So undoubtedly, with all you have going on, without question, you have plenty to share with us. So the first question I had for you is, with all of the changes that have been going on in sales over the last year or so, what are you and perhaps what are you focusing on with your clients in order to help them grow sales in today's marketplace?
A lot of it is just developing connections, right? Things have changed in the way that we sell. You used to be able to spray and pray, do a lot of weird things with mass emailing, all these different tactics. And unfortunately, COVID shook that all up. And kind of this past year and a half has went to personalization at scale, really, being more engaging with the people that you are reaching out to through research, relevancy, and relatability. So a lot of what I've been doing with the teams that I've been working with and at Milestone is adapting to that. How do you, find a formula in your research to be quick and find that relatability and that relevancy when you are reaching out? People don't want you just saying, hey, I know that we went to the same college together, Mark. Nobody cares, right? They want to know, why me? Why are you reaching out? And what really triggered you to say you can solve my problem today? And so I've been really teaching my team on formulas to spend that time in that research and really make messages that count, that lead to, that 10% reply rate and getting those meetings up and getting those booked through making real connections.
So you've already touched upon my next question is really around the challenge of sales today. So being able to have that personalization, make sure that you can engage your potential prospect or potential new customer. What are some of the ways that you said that you work with your clients to help them get some of that personalization? What are some of the things that we should be thinking about when it comes to being able to connect with our customers to overcome that challenge?
It's being where your audience lives, right? And taking that step and understanding where they're living, being a part of those important discussions with them, showing that you live in their world. I have my team really involved in LinkedIn. It's a big channel to be a part of, to watch the things that people are creating, the content that's coming out from the prospects that you're going after. What are they writing about? What are they sharing as challenges? Are you in some of those major communities that are a part of your ICP? We're in a lot of digital marketing groups. We're following some of the search engine journal stuff. And, that sales team is paying attention to the world of digital. So that way, when they go to make their outreach, there is something very specific that they can lead with. And they know and are earning respect with the prospects that this guy knows what I'm talking about, or this girl knows exactly what's going on in my world because they're in the right places where their audience is. Some are doing it over on Twitter, right? Some are finding that Facebook groups are very important and they're finding a lot of information over there. LinkedIn, again, building those brands is so important. And then looking at company websites, going on their LinkedIn, going on their website, looking at, their job openings. Go look at those prerequisites that are in those job openings. What are they looking for? What are going to be some of the goals of that person in that role? And how does it align to what you're offering? So it's really taking that research a whole nother step and understanding that you're doing the research to find that relatability and that relevancy. because personalization can be great. And again, Mark, you and I could write you a great email on you having a dog, and going to college. But you and I both know that doesn't matter. Nobody cares if at the end of the day you're not being related, if that personalization doesn't lead to some type of relatability and relevance to what I'm dealing with. If it's just there to say, hey, how are you? It's going to drop dead. Nobody's going to care there. But if it's like, hey, I saw your post about your dog recently, Mark. You have a 1-year-old. That's awesome. Have you thought of using Chewy, this box service that gives them goodies, right? That's a relevant message, and you might entertain that because you do have a puppy. Chewy is a solution to that, right? So you got to find that relevancy in their content or on their website to get past most of the noise they're dealing with.
Yeah, fantastic. Being able to not only do that research, get to know them to the extent possible, but what I hear you saying is actually use that in the language, the conversation, to help them address particular challenges that they have. So
that's it, right? Trying that whole story. It's a cake, right? Every ingredient has to go together, or you just have a flat mess in the inbox, right? And it's just all convoluted. It's way too long. It's going in spam, or you try to word vomit on the phone with them. It's got to tell. The whole point of personalization is to tie it into the story, right? One of my favorite examples was somebody reached out to somebody on LinkedIn that's a big surfer in the community. We all know them as the surfer, and they wrote this very elegant email to them that they shared that tied in surfing to the bottom line of their sales process. And it really worked because it was actually relevant, but it led to, the actual reason they were reaching out. So if you're going to use it in the right way.
Right. So that's some of the challenge of being able to understand who you're talking to, being able to craft a personal message to them, and specifically towards addressing some of the challenges that they face. So how about, let's talk about the opportunity with all of this change and uncertainty. It has introduced some whole new opportunities in sales. So from your perspective, what's a key area of opportunity?
It again is it's missing out on the face-to-face, right? You've got a lot of AEs who used to be able to dine and wine. They were traveling. They were getting to be able to shake that hand and make that deal sometimes with some pretty big organizations. And now that's gone, right? So it's created this really new opportunity for people to be very creative and find ways to connect virtually without being able to actually be there, fly down, say hello, greet the person you're trying to close a deal with. That's a big opportunity for people. It's been a hard transition. I've watched a few sales teams have to go from the field to internal. You have SDRs now, sales development reps trying to break through a lot more noise than they ever had before because people are just at home monitoring their email a lot more closely. They're seeing all these different channels being kicked up. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to be creative. There's a lot of opportunity for you to make a bigger impact now and be different than most people that are reaching out by incorporating gifting, incorporating video prospecting, right? Not many are doing it. It's very uncomfortable for people to get behind camera and do like a video to a prospect versus a cold call or hiding behind the keyboard through an email. So it's really created a large opportunity for people to be different by getting behind that camera, doing a quick 60-second video, maybe sending a gift above. Some of the best vendors that have reached out to me in the last year and a half have been stepping up in gifting. And it's been incredible, right? You get these very nice, elegant, personalized things to you, as they're trying to be relevant and try to get that meeting with you. So there's just a lot of opportunity to be a lot more creative. And it's really going to set the pack apart between who's going to be able to pull that off and who isn't. I lost audio with you, Mark.
Yeah, there's opportunity to make sure that I'm unmuted when I speak too. So, but I was just saying there is boundless opportunity to be creative in the way that we approach our prospective customers. And I love the suggestion around using video. I do agree. I don't think that it's used enough. People tend to shrink away from it instead of embracing it. And yet, so it is quickly an area to differentiate yourself. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, you're meeting new sales leaders all of the time, and they want to hit the ground running. They want to be successful right away. You've shared with us some insights, but if you had to pass on one favorite nugget of advice, do you have one that jumps out at you?
It's the one I've been leading with for quite some time with people, which is the 3 R's formula that I run with, right? Everybody tries to find a script or something that can get the ground running, but I don't like to live by scripts because I like to encourage people to find their own lane. We don't want people, best practices are great until they're overused by everybody. So what the 3 R's encompasses is, research, relevancy, and relatability. When you apply that method to your cold call, to your email, to your social touch, you can't lose, right? It's more of a formula. So when you're trying to write that script or you're trying to write that email up, are you hitting those 3 areas? Are you showing proper research, right? Did you actually take a few minutes to find something relevant, a trigger event, something of that nature? And then is your message actually being relatable? And is it being relevant? And once you can do that formula and apply it to those, really, you can't lose. You'll have a higher chance of them responding to that email or picking up that call and talking to you for 5 minutes. When you're like, hey, Mark, I saw recently that you posted about this, or I seen your company posted about this. I was curious. I just wanted to chat with you for a few minutes. How are you guys tackling that right now? And you just have that natural conversation, and then you tie your questions and your process into that research or that relevancy and that relatability. So that's really my only nugget right now is just focus on those 3 things in your outreach. Because if you can hit those on the head, then you have a higher chance of getting that return on it.
Yeah, do your research, be relatable, and be relevant for the prospect. Love that. Oh, undoubtedly, there are people in your career that have helped you, that have made an impact in your growth and your success. Would you share a name or two of somebody that I should connect with, have in my network, as well as other folks listening, and potentially invite on the show so they can share insights with us as well?
Oh, I got a ton, right? There's so many great people. I would recommend, Jared Robin. He has built an amazing sales community of 16,000 revenue professionals. He's got a real pulse on what's actually happening in the sales world and is bringing us all together in one community to have that dialogue and collaborate together virtually in this amazing world we're in now. There is a Nick Sproul, who is a newer sales leader himself with One Source Virtual. Him and I probably bounce ideas on the regular, talking about how we can improve our teams and continuously growing. And then I would recommend Dale Zawinski. Dale is a real revolutionary driven sales leader. He asks the hard questions. He kind of has the hard dialogue on LinkedIn sometimes. That's not always the most appealing, but it's important dialogue, and he's influencing that in a good way. So those are 3 people over the last 1.5 to 2 years for me personally that has really helped me, be a successful leader and kind of help, change the dynamics of the sales world here as we move forward.
Well, thank you so much for mentioning them. I will make sure that I connect with them and invite them on the show, and I hope others do connect with them as well. So, Tom, really appreciate you taking the time to join us and share insights today. I know that with your experience and the work that you're doing, that we got a tremendous amount of value out of it. So thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Right. And folks, do make sure that you're subscribed to the show so that you'll be notified of upcoming episodes. There are more coming, so you want to make sure that you don't miss any of those. And until next time, I hope you reach invincible success.